Looks like Adam Brown has some public comment. No? Pull the speaker over.
What's on your mind?
Pull the microphone over, Adam.
Yeah.
No comment.
Should we hold up a minute for you, Adam?
Yeah, just a second. Should be
I
good.
know you're stalling for our fellow commissioner, right? No public comment. Moving on to committee items. Need approval of the minutes, please, or discussion? Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Moving on to finance. Jim?
Mr. Chairman, we're presenting the monthly financial statements for the 3 months ended in March, and our benchmark is 25%. Our expenditure level is at 26, and what I forgot to mention here is the month of March, we had 3 payrolls, and so for the year, we've had 7 payrolls out of 26. So the benchmark with respect to salaries and fringes really is 26.9%, which in general would explain the fact that we're at 26 instead of 25 in terms of expenditure level. Of the items, the detailed explanations, there's another one I left off, second page of the expense item. The miscellaneous non-departmental expenses are at 43%, and that's because of prepayments of our insurance plan. MMRNA plan requires monthly payments ahead, so that puts us over the benchmark for the year, but that would taper off for the rest of the year. And then with respect to the other funds, and there's some questions here. Again, with respect to the 9/30 year-end funds, that's Friend of the Court and the Health Department fund, the benchmark there is 50%, so we are below the expenditure level there. Some of the other funds, there are some special situations with respect to jail millage, Department of Aging on the revenue side. We actually collected those tax revenues in the previous year. The levy is different than the county levy, and so that is a summer tax bill. And so what we do is we transfer in, well, we've already collected, but we show part of that as deferred in the prior year. So in 2013, we show the total tax revenues as collected, which they are. With respect to the expenditures for those funds, we also transfer at one time the property tax revenues to the applicable funds and so forth. Some other areas, the child care fund is at 30.9%, and there has been some discussion. The child care fund expenses for 13 and 14, we've been told that those are higher than anticipated by $300,000 to $400,000 potentially. So that's another issue with our 14 budget, but it also can be an issue in 13 where we may have to do some amendments and so forth. We'll be monitoring that as we go through the year. And one more item, the Maintenance of Effort Fund, there is a one-time payment to the state, which occurs early in the year, so that would explain the differences there in terms of expenditure level. So if there's any other questions.
Any questions? Commissioner Elwell?
Just one quick one, and maybe more for the administrator than Jim, but on the expenditures on animal control, it shows it's 16.6%. You said we're at 25% right now, Jim, of the year, budget year. In the total budget for that appears to be 240. Friday, in the first look at the budget presentation, it looked like that was one of the options, and I think that was close to the full amount. Is it at 16% because we're still at 2? There's an unfilled position there, is that why? Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Thank you, Jim. Next up, we have the retirement and the drop list for review. Questions, comments? We're good. Next up, Cameron, JTA Authority Quarterly Report. Welcome.
Thank you. Afternoon, folks. You have the January, February, March reports. I guess, they speak for themselves, but I think in general, I'd like to, I think I may have mentioned it at last time I was here, the JARC funding. JARC funding for this year is staying as it is, about $400,000. As of next year, which our October start is for us, our October fiscal, those funds are going to be dropped back by about half. There's a couple of reasons for that. It's, with the new transportation bill, the feds reallocated that funding to individual systems, whereas in the past, the state had allocated JARC funds to those that had put in a program, and so we were really receiving quite a bit more than the actual allocation is now, as the feds allocate it. So it's going to be allocated by system, and so many systems that didn't get JARC funding before are now getting it because of the allocation. What that means realistically is we have to look at that program and see how we're going to trim it back by about half and try and accommodate the folks that we're transporting with that program. Because as you can see from the JARC funding in here, all of them are rural or urban trips. They're outside of the city area. That's where we've allocated that funds. So that's a concern that we'll be working on over the next few months, just to, as a committee, we have to meet with our committee and decide how we're going to address that issue. You may also notice I didn't change it on the actual hours being paid for by the county, but I believe you got a letter about our hourly rate dropped by about $4 an hour, so actual hours that the county's money is buying increased. And we applied it here, I think, effective probably in the March, because we would have had our audit and done. It was probably starting March. You're just we're providing more hours than are actually being billed, but we just wanted to let you know that we did our annual evaluation of our local costs, and they went down by several dollars per hour.
Questions, comments? I have one. The JARC program, who all will is that dial-a-ride?
Yeah, it's dial-a-ride work trips to and from work, 24 hours a day, really. We utilize some private cab companies for the late-night workers where we don't have hours, but it's can only be used for work. Job access reverse commute. It's intended for jobs coming from outlying areas in travel type jobs. That's what the program was originally intended. We don't know if it's going to continue after this reauthorization, which is only for 2 years. So this year will be our full funding. Next year it'll be about half, and then it'll be open to the reauthorization whenever that happens.
That'd be at federal level or? state?
Federal level, yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at that service possibly being trimmed?
Yeah.
Or needing more funding?
Let me put it this way. Our board has to make a decision on whether to try and make up some of that funding. I'm going to guess that they probably wouldn't, since most of them are county residents. And I say this because that's going to put some more pressure on the county service, and I don't know how much, these folks can't easily transfer to the regular county reserve ride that you folks are purchasing. The JARC funding pays for itself, and it's about $400,000. And it's going to drop to 200 unless, from what we're being told, it's going to be about 200, not 400.
Thank you.
Yep.
Questions? Thank you. Come on. Waiting on the computer. Okay, next up, Department of Transportation, we need to eliminate some duplicating policies. Looks to be pretty straightforward. Discussion, motions,
I'd so move.
any discussions?
Just a comment, obviously, there are policies that Administrator's Office feel are duplicated by our own, is why they're being eliminated. Any idea how many policies will remain that are their own versus these? No?
I don't have a specific number, but just to kind of give you a look into the future, our intern's been working on these, and we will probably have quite a few come next month that are actually mergers of policies. And there'll be some that will be a new section in the policy manual that are specific to the transportation that don't really relate to anything else we do. So that's kind of the plan. The first plan was clear out the ones that are duplicate. Second, we have lots of revisions in process that will be ready in June. And then the last one will be creating a own transportation section.
Thank you. Any other questions, concerns? We need to move this onto the full board. I need a motion. Oh, okay. Commissioner Lutchka? Oh, okay. Okay. All in favor? Appears to pass. Thank you. Next up be facilities. Rick?
Good afternoon, everyone. First one we have is the interior office painting at the Human Services Building.
Questions?
I'd move the request.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Next.
Thank you. And our second one is some caulking and tuck pointing work for the Human Services Building.
I'll support the motion.
Questions or comments? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Rick. Next up, we have the Vista Granville Drainage Contract Award. I believe Adam, you have information on this? Need any discussion?
Yeah, we've been working on this for a while, and tried to cover everything in the report. I'm sorry? Yeah, probably. We have an agreement with Vista Granville. It will cost us a little bit. We've already put a little under $4,000 into the design and engineering of this solution, and we're negotiating back and forth with Vista Granville to come to an agreement. It's a little bit more than what we wanted to pay. It's a little bit more than what they wanted to pay, so that's probably a good solution for us. So we're recommending you approve that so we can get that taken care of.
Okay, this will be the $10,816 you need approved?
Right.
Is the engineering cost included in that, or is that on
That's
top?
correct, it is.
Okay.
I'd move the
everything.
request.
Discussion, board? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you, board. Next up, we have revisions of policy. And it's pretty straightforward. It's the revisions of the policy 4090 we need to make when we drop from 4 committees to 3. Any questions or discussion? Commissioner Ello.
Just one comment. There's at least one spot where we're listed as the Board of County Commissioners instead of the County Board of Commissioners. We can, I'll move to approve it, and if we can wordsmith those to change them.
Support. No further discussion? We'll vote. All in favor? Aye. No nays? Thank you much. Next up, we have the claims. Need a motion to pay the claims.
Move to pay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any discussion on the other committee minutes? Appears to be none. June reporting schedule. Finance, Administrator, Controller, Treasurer, and the IT Department. Public comment? Commissioner comments? Meeting adjourned.